This one left me speechless. I did not see this one coming. I guess before we get to the rankings, Damien, I feel like we gotta let you cook on this one because the season is lost. Like Alabama's had some weird moments this year. They've had some highs, some lows. It's been a crazy year for them. But they're gonna need a ton of help to get in the playoff. You can't say never. But year one under Kalen DeBoer, I think, especially with a team with this much talent, has not gone as people thought that it would.
Well, yeah, no, it definitely hasn't gone as people thought, but it's not a lost season yet because they still have an 11% chance of making the college football playoff. And that's what's so crazy, right? And all year we've been holding Alabama to we've been comparing them to the standard as opposed to just comparing them to the opportunity that every other team in college football is afforded, which is as long as you've got a chance, it's not over. Like unless you're at 0%, you can get to the playoffs. Other teams can lose. There can be some shakeup at different conferences. You can get some help from somewhere else. So I'm not going to sit here and say all is lost yet. But to your point, to put up a performance like that at this point in the season, whenever the field is supposed to start to identify itself, the cream is supposed to start rising to the top. And like you said, this Oklahoma team, when they face good teams, has been non-competitive all season long. And they just put a beat down on Alabama. Like this was not close. They were dominated from the first snap to the last. Jalen Milroe did not look good. I mean, obviously 3 turnovers. You're not going to win a lot of games whenever your quarterback has 3 turnovers, doesn't have any touchdown passes. Obviously, in Jalen Milroe's case, doesn't run for any touchdowns. I mean, Ryan Williams, I know we were robbed of a spectacular play. I know we're going to get into that call, but other than that, it wasn't really much of a factor. The run game, not much of a factor. Scheme-wise, I didn't feel like they were calling good plays on offense. Defensively, this is another time where we're going to talk about it looks like this defense just can't stop a nosebleed. Like when have we started to see this? So it was a bad performance. And I don't say that. I'm not sitting here trying to cook as like I used to play for Saban, so it was embarrassing because of anything like that. You know, it's embarrassing because again, when you've got teams like Ohio State, who is a team that's looked at as one of the best teams in the country, and they go out and handle business against Indiana, or SMU, the way they handled business. Even Miami, you know, against a weaker Wake Forest, but like teams are out here handling business when it's time to handle business. Alabama absolutely, unequivocally did the opposite of handling business. If anything, they've shown that any progress, whether it was the LSU game or any other time where we thought, okay, maybe Alabama is starting to figure it out, they're starting to get it, they don't have it. And if you don't have it right now, like even if you get in the playoffs, even if you make it, like what do you have to fall back on? Because you're so inconsistent. You play good one week, you play terrible another week. You beat LSU, you beat Georgia, you lost to Vandy, you lost to Tennessee, you lost to Oklahoma, who is one of the worst teams in the SEC this year. So it's like, what are you going to fall on?
They had one SEC win. They hadn't won a game since September. Yeah. Like this is just the clearest sign that like Nick Saban's gone, he's not coming back. Yes, we know that Kalen DeBoer can win big games. He beat Georgia, he blew out LSU in Death Valley, he blew out Missouri. He also lost to what is now a 6-5 Vanderbilt team and a 6-5 Oklahoma team. Like that's what Kalen DeBoer does. He will win you big games and lose you bad games. And now for Alabama, the path was clear to the SEC championship game, to a first round spot in the playoff. Or even just making the playoff either way. And now that's blown up. You're playing a 5-5 Oklahoma team, what was a 4-6 Auburn team. Like it was there, and they completely blew it. And the concerning thing now is, you know, what is the talent level at Alabama moving forward when those Saban players start to go out? Can Kalen DeBoer acquire talent the same way Nick Saban did? I don't know. This game, I was supposed to go to this game. I was like considering going. Then we had our New York trip. I couldn't really make it work. I didn't want to drive all the way up there. I thought it was going to be a blowout. The storyline up in Oklahoma was Oklahoma fans might be selling their tickets to Alabama fans and just letting more Alabama fans come. And then you get a performance like that, which is, I was watching this game and I'm like, when should I like start to take this game seriously on my quad box? And then I was like, I don't think Alabama's doing anything in this game. And lo and behold, 24-3.
3 points is wild. I will say, so you look at Alabama's class next year, they're number 3 nationally, right behind Georgia and Ohio State, 4 5-stars, 13 4-stars. We'll see what they do in the portal. I think the talent level will still be enough consistently to win national championships. But even in the 12-team playoff era, as we learned, I don't want to do this right now. I don't want to get into this right now. But I will say that the SEC, even this year, is better than the Pac-12 most years, and especially last year. And when you play badly, if you're at Washington, there were not that many teams that were good enough to beat you. Well, in the SEC, there's some that are good enough to beat you, and I don't know that I would have counted
There's
Oklahoma.
more than some. There's a lot.
Yeah, I don't know that I would have counted Oklahoma among those, but I guess I need to. But you could have convinced me that maybe Alabama could lose this game, but scoring 3 points and being barely competitive, doing nothing on offense. Oklahoma's a good defense, but it's one of the more crazy results of the season. Honestly,
Oklahoma had 257 rushing yards. Oklahoma. They were 108. They were 118th in rushing coming into the season. Jackson Arnold threw for like 68 yards in this game, and they won handily. I mean, the defense basically gave them 14 points from the pick six and the other return, but like Oklahoma's offense was good enough. You averaged 5 yards per carry against Alabama. Like, go figure, in a year that you fired the offense coordinator and are currently trying to find a new offensive coordinator and potentially a quarterback to come with that offensive coordinator.